First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this clip, and I'm just going to make one long sustained note. And I mean, I would recommend just, this is just good practice, I would say, is to make that note the, whatever the root note that you're working in here, I would use that. So in this case, this whole song is in that I'm going to be working on for this whole module is in G sharp minor. Yeah, right. Like really good choice, Anthony. But that's just the way I went with the sample. So unfortunately, I didn't really have my choice, my pick. So I'm just going to make this note a G sharp. So let's go. And you'll notice that it's not sustaining. Why is it sustaining? Because it is not looped. So make sure that you have this single waveform in your simpler. You're just going to loop that like so. Let's see what we have. There we go. So now we have just one sustained note. It's a little on the low side, but I'm going to show you why that's not all bad. So okay, so I have this one long sustained note. I'm going to keep the release how it is. So now I have this one long sustained note, but that's not exactly what I want, right? I want the pitch of this to rise into this this transition. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to pitch, and I'm going to turn it on first of all. So don't. A lot of times people will be messing with these knobs, but if it's not on, it won't do much of anything. And so what I want there to be is basically an attack. And what that means is that it's going to the pitch envelope works very similar to the volume envelope in that the pitch attack time will basically take 30.4 milliseconds to attain the original pitch, or the pitch that you're trying to reach. So it'll take that time, which means that it'll sort of it'll glide up. So right now, if you play this, you'll hear nothing's happening. So the reason that this is happening is if you go down to envelope right here, what this is, envelope, I sound European, the envelope, basically what this does is it controls, this envelope control right here, controls how much the envelope affects the pitch. So right now it's at 0, and that's why you're not hearing anything. But what we're going to want to do is turn this up a little bit. So you'll hear this. Not exactly what we want, because you'll notice what happens. It goes boom, because it's a kind of a cool sound, but it's happening at 88.1 milliseconds, which is not nearly long enough, and it's not enough time for it to really have that rising effect. So let's turn this really up high, like so. So that's gonna, so you can hear but it's now a little bit too short of a time, or it's too long of a time rather. So for us to really notice the pitch change. All right, so we're sort of getting there by trial and error here. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that this is covering more ground. So I usually like to do like an octave here, because that way it gives you like an octave of it starts and ends on the same note basically. That actually sounds pretty cool, but it's not. We want basically the tip or the end of this climb, this glide, to come right at this the 2-bar mark. So almost there. So we're just going to keep on messing with the attack time, right? All right, there we go. So we're getting closer and closer. All right. You might wonder why it's returning back to that original pitch, which actually I think sounds kind of cool, but maybe with your buildup you don't want it to drop out back to that original pitch. And the reason is that if you go back to the volume filter, you notice the release is kind of high, which means that even after the MIDI note has stopped, it's going to keep on. The note is going to sound for at least another 7.38 seconds, which is actually kind of a long time. So if you turn that down, so it doesn't, cuts right off. And some people find that to sound kind of unnatural. I like to do something kind of in between, so just a little bit of release time. we go. So now we're getting a little bit better. And so, you know, you can mess with this now if you. Now we've kind of got the basics down, and we have a rising synthesizer sound that's going to lead us into a transition. And in this case, there's not a really strong transition in the drums. So basically, this rising synth is going to basically take the place of a really strong change in the drums. It gives the impression that a big change is coming, but realistically, all that's happening is the claps are coming in. So let's go ahead. So it sets the tone for that clap coming in.